How you doing everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I've got a great video for you guys today, and if you've ever not wound your automatic watch for an extended period of time and worried about it, this is the video for you. So, given recent events, I've been working from home in these last 2 or 3 months, and I'm sure many of you have been too. I was working from my computer the other day when the thought suddenly occurred to me that I've not wound my Rolex or Tudor watches in months. In fact, it must be at least 3 months. The reason for this is that since the lockdown, I've actually put my watches away and stored them securely so that nothing happens to them. However, it meant that I'd actually not looked at them in a good 2 or 3 months. Initially I panicked because the advice I heard was that automatic watches should not be left unwound for more than 2 weeks to a month at a time. Now, the reason for this is that the essential parts of the watch could be damaged by being left dormant for an extended period of time. Accordingly, the essential oils that move around the watch when the movement is in motion may start to congeal. This means that important parts of the movement that require these oils for good functionality may not get the right amount of oil they need. So in a panic, I started to do some research to find out what I must now do to get my watches back in good working order, or so I thought. However, when I looked at my Rolex manual, it only told me how to wind the watch. It didn't tell me how often I should do it. The same with my Tudor watch. So then I went online, and even then I looked on the Rolex service site, and still it told me how to wind my watch, but it didn't actually tell me how often I should do it. In fact, when I did some more digging to find out what the definitive answer should be on this, I got a varying number of results, including you should wind your watch daily, you should wind your watch weekly, 2 weekly, or at the very least once a month. However, I did see some words of comfort where on a number of websites I saw that I think the most frequent winding instructions were mainly for vintage watches, whereas the newer watches, such as ones I have, probably don't need to be wound quite as often. In fact, many of the newer watches have synthetic oils, which means that they are a lot more robust than the watches of times past. So at this point I started to feel better about things. But you never want to be too relaxed about stuff like this, and of course it's much better to be safe than sorry, right? Even if the watches today are a lot more robust than the older watches, I think what was consistent in the information I saw across a number of articles was that winding your watch regularly would help in terms of ensuring that the watch keeps the most accurate time possible in a particular watch that you own and are trying to wind. So let's put this to the test and see what happens when I now try and wind my watches after not having done so for almost or the best part of 3 months. So the first watch I'm going to bring out of XL is my Harrods Tudor. Now I'm a bit scared, and I'm really hoping that it will start working once I've wound it. By the way, the advice is when winding your watch is that you should never wind your watch while it's on the wrist. You must always take it out like this so that you don't ever put unnecessary forces on the crown, which could result unfortunately in damage to the watch. So as you can see, this watch stopped working or ticking at just before 8:30, and I'm not sure what day that would be, but let's see if it comes back to life now once I start winding it. Now the time is 10:07 on a Monday evening, so let me just set the time. Already you can see that without even winding it, it started working again. So I'm now going to put it to wind position, which is the first notch after you undo the crown. The proof is in the pudding in that the watch is working perfectly, no problem at all. Let me now give the Rolex a try and see if the result is the same. So I've got my Rolex Submariner in front of me. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm hoping it will go as well as my Tudor, but who knows. And here's the Rolex Sub. What a great watch. I have to say, I love the Tudor, but every time I see this watch, it literally makes me blink. Yeah, I'm always in awe when I see it because it's just, yeah, it is definitely perfection. So now I'm just going to try and wind the watch. I'm going to give it the full 30. And as you can see, the watch has started moving already. Fantastic. Wind that back really tightly. And as you can see, the watch is working perfectly. Both watches are perfectly fine. And to be honest with you, I think many watch enthusiasts or watch collectors have this problem and may have some worries regarding how often they should wind their watches. In fact, as we all know, if you have more than 3 or 4 watches, even by that point, it's hard to wear all of them for a good length of time. And you find yourself sometimes going for weeks at a time without using 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of the watches. We all have our favourite watch or our favourite day-to-day watch. However, there's some comfort to be had in the knowledge that the newer watches should be more robust and are in fact able to go for an extended period of time without being wound and have no ill effects on the watch. But my advice here comes with a word of warning. This may not be the same for every watch, and especially so for the vintage watches, where if you have a watch that you're unsure about or you feel could be badly affected by it not being wound regularly, you should definitely endeavour or make sure that you wind that watch according to the guidelines that have been given to you by your dealer or whoever you purchased the watch from. And there are many ways this can be done. One such way is to order an automatic watch winder. There are plenty of them on Amazon, for example, that you can buy that will wind your watch while you store it. I don't personally have one, and it may be something that I invest in with time. Accordingly, you can set your own calendar reminders for you to go back to your collection and wind your watches at the right time or at the right intervals so that they keep in perfect working order and you don't have to worry about them. That concludes my video today, but just before I go, I'd just like to say my channel hit a new milestone. As you can see behind me, it's got 2,000 views. Now, when I started this channel, I could never have imagined that I would get this many views. However, please keep watching. Please drop a like, subscribe. Your support is really appreciated.